What's going on, guys? It's been a while since I've done a video like this because I've been playing Call of Duty, and if some of you noticed or have not noticed, those two videos have been. I have two videos that have been copyrighted. The first video is copyrighted, and the sixth one is copyrighted. So if you guys have questions about that, now you have the answers. It's because of copyrights. I honestly I can't lift them, being blocked in every country and stuff like that. But I'm not here to talk about Call of Duty. I'm here to talk about Assassin's Creed 3. Because I've been saying that I wanted to continue these reviews ever since I started doing them. And now that a lot of things have changed regarded as, I guess I'm talking about more than just Assassin's Creed today. I'm talking about, there's just a lot of things to talk about. I gotta talk about the new rules with YouTube. I gotta talk about the new, like, I'm gonna have to follow them. Like, when I first heard these rules, I was like, no, this is awful. I can't let this happen. This is wrong. This is against freedom and freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom, just freedom in general. And that's what my Call of Duty thing was. It was about it's like military freedom, stuff like that. We fight for freedom and stuff like that. And now YouTube just kind of become like this, just like this freaking, I don't know, this PBS, this freaking Cartoon Network, this I don't know. Maybe it's not even Cartoon Network. It's Cartoon Network's kind of gone south. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. But you will notice I won't swear as much. I probably won't swear at all just because I don't want nothing to happen to the channel. But I will not give up my opinion on anything. If I have an opinion about something, I'm going to give you the bottom line about what I really feel about it. And that's the point. And that's why we're gonna just start the review, because I'm not gonna continue about talking about this. Okay, so let's talk about Assassin's Creed 3. Assassin's Creed 3 is right after the events of Revelations, and that was exciting to me because then we're continuing Desmond's story. And then we go into this cave, and then we find out that there's this wall or this beam of energy or something that we got to get through, and like it takes like three of these bricks to get through and a key. So 3 bricks and a key. You got the first, or no, is it 4 bricks? I think it's 4 bricks. It's 4 bricks and then a key. The first one, you just finally walk in, and when you walk in, you go into like this crazy memory sequence, and then you pass out, and then you're Desmond, and you go through this train simulation, and then you are Haytham, and Haytham Kenway is the character you start out with, not Connor. And we will get to that because there will be spoilers in this, just because it's been out for a long time and it might as well be talked about. So we go through the story of Haytham. We find out that he is basically a Templar, and that we are learning about his rising of power in the American colonies. And it's really interesting because it kind of helps me think about, it kind of puts questions in your head too, about thinking about how you're pretty sure that not all Templars were assassins before, because there are a lot of questions about how did the Templars always get power back? How did they always get the power back from the assassins in order for the assassins to come back and get it back? And it's like what? Were the assassins lazy after they won? Or like, I don't know what happened. I don't know. Like, there's these questions. Like, every single time that you play Assassin's Creed these days, it's always these questions in your head, like how do they get the power? And I think this one kind of helps you because it helps you understand and show how they built their power a bit. And that's what I like about number 3 a little bit. So then after we finally get through that, we finally are Connor. I'm not going to spoil everything. I'm just going to give you the general story just for this review. So then we finally are Connor. We're younger. Spoiler alert: Mommy dies. She burns to death because, and Connor blames Charles Lee for her death. And Charles Lee is Hatham's right hand man, and Hatham is Connor's father. So it's a very, very complicated. It's a very complicated relationship with a father and a son because Connor wants to kill Charles Lee, but Hatham is trying to always prove him right, prove that he's innocent. I feel like there are moments where Connor could have easily made him turn because of the fact that he did love his mother. Hatham did love what was her name? Zio. That's what she asked him to call him one time. Asked her to call him one time. You know what I mean. But he never listens, and long story short, of course, Connor ends up killing him. I guess I'll stop here and I'll talk about some of the characters, about what I like and don't like. I don't like Hatham, and let me explain why. Because Hatham he's he knows, well, he's a Templar, so he's a bad guy, right? I don't like bad guys. Well, we'll get to that. There's a difference. There's a thin line, and we'll talk about it. I don't like Hatham. He's a straight evil guy. Connor, I do like Connor. Okay, I like Connor. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Altair. But there are differences. There's always differences. I always do prefer Altair more. You guys know that. Altair is the guy for me. But Connor, he's kind of... a lot of people don't like him because he's very... Well, I wouldn't say a lot of people don't like him. I think a lot of people's problem was the fact that they felt that the cities and environment felt just not as good as they should have been. And it's usually the cities and environments that a lot of people look at, not just the character. Some people, that's another reason why some people don't like Connor, maybe because they maybe feel that he's just as dull as the environment and the other people in the environment. So I understand there, but I do like Connor. I like his story. I think it's kind of interesting. We didn't get much of Zio. I thought that she was a good character. She's a mother, so you get the mother feeling from her when you're Connor, so you kind of understand a bit. Charles Lee. Let's talk about Charles Lee. Charles Lee is he's a straight out douchebag. He's a straight out jackass. When you first meet him as Hatham, he seems like a nice person, but then later we find out he's a dick. He's a real I gotta watch my mouth. It's gonna take time, guys. I gotta watch it. That's a problem. I'm not gonna talk about it. Even though I really want to talk about it, and I don't want to talk about it. But he's not a good guy. He's not a good guy, and that's what you know. And that's just basically the characters. We get to meet Desmond's dad in this. Desmond's dad's he's very distant from his kid because of the fact that Desmond went on his own. We found out in Revelations about his past and about how he basically ran away. He left. Desmond didn't want to deal with it anymore, being an assassin and stuff like that. It just... And overall, we're not going to talk about the overall yet. Okay, Achilles. I'm going to talk about this last character because you guys know how I feel about Juno. I think I've talked about her on more than one occasion. I do not like Juno. She's a waste of... She's just a setup character. She's just trying to give you motivation and I don't know what they're doing with her. Honest to God, I don't know. Achilles was so funny in this because he was that guy that just kind of stuck with you. Like he was that type. It's like it could be someone like like someone older than you, like who's very he's old and grumpy, but he's a good guy, like that kind of guy. And I think that's what makes him so funny, especially when he says certain things. Like it really is a good uplifting to Connor's character. I feel like in Homestead Missions, I thought that helped improve the community of the frontier a bit, and at the homestead, it just worked. I felt like that there was a little bit of story and a little bit you can interact with people a little bit more than that. But maybe, with the people that you can interact with. But I guess people have their own opinions. I think the homestead missions is what helps Connor's character a lot. Um, it just works for him, and I don't even think I looked up how he died. Uh, I don't remember. If you guys know, let me know. I don't want to go look it up. I don't want to go look it up. So after Connor kills Hatham, he finally does get around to chasing Charles Lee. Gets injured, kills, and then they're both injured. They walk. It's kind of a cool scene. They walk into a bar. They just kind of sit down, have a few drinks, and then Connor finally just kills him. And it was, I don't know, it felt kind of a nice moment because it's like, finally you're just sitting down with the one guy you despise so much, and then you finally like are just like what's gonna happen. They both know what's happening, and that's what I think was kind of a cool little difference between the standard quickly get them and kill them. It's a nice change of pace. I thought it was. And after they find this key, Desmond opens the door, and Juno. So he dies. Desmond dies. Yay for people who didn't like Desmond, I guess. So, and then that's how it ended. That's how it ended. It rolled credits, and then we had an epilogue to the ending, and it was depressing. Everyone left. Connor's people that he's been trying to protect, they left, and he comes back and he's like, they're all gone. So he just doesn't know what to do, and then that's it. That's the last story mission. And overall, the game was good. The game was good. It gave us new mechanics like the rope dart. The rope dart was fun. I kind of didn't like how I didn't get to throw the tomahawk. A lot of people like to talk about and joke about how they like throw a tomahawk and get some or kills them, whatever. Uh, Assassin's Creed 3 overall, I have to say overall, Assassin's Creed 3 was the combat in this game is kind of different than it. Yeah, okay, this is what we got to talk about. The combat and the controls. The combat and the controls. It took me a little bit to get used to free running. Okay, free running in this game, there's no like you gotta press X and then you start sprinting, and if you let go of X, or A, you jog. And that's not the case here. In fact, it's you hold R1 or RT, it's full on sprint, and it feels. I don't know. I feel like you didn't have. There's not a lot of control in like how you approach. Like usually when you jog in older games, you wouldn't get detected easily. But if you just run like with the R stick or the RT stick, it's sometimes guards will even just chase you. Like they'll just chase you like you're just kind of running down the street, and then out of the blue they'll just chase you because they think you did something. So it's kind of complicated. When I first played the game, I felt like I was kind of, I can't say overpowered, but I can say not easily beat. Like you feel like you're not beat easily. Like you can take a lot of hits. Like there was no like really a health upgrade progression. You just kind of had the same amount of health. That's pretty much it. I mean, the combat in this game, they changed it a lot. it's like you gotta press B to counter now, and then like what? Like it's kind of a weird system now. It feels a little too easy. I think that's the only problem I had with this game. It felt too easy. But in other games, we'll talk about how it became fun to use those because they made it more difficult. But this was their stepping stone because they had a new game mechanic that they wanted to do. And I think that it was pretty bad of them to do it at this time. It was not a good time to do this at this time. Because of this, it was a glitchy mess. A little. Sometimes it was a glitchy mess, and I mean, I could always still restart, but still, it was like it's kind of a pain. It was a pain. Overall, I'd have to say Assassin's Creed 3. It's still a good game, but it's not like amazing to the point where I mean that's I don't think it's that's what the goal is. I think that its goal was to just finish a story that they were trying to wrap up. But you can kind of feel like that it was kind of lazily done at the end, and endings are important because especially if you have a good beginning. The beginning was good. It was just the ending. The beginning was good all the way to like a certain point, like after you kill Charles Lee, and then that was when it was like, what's going on? So basically, what I'm trying to say is all the Desmond parts. I also liked how I also liked how there were Desmond missions. Like you could go back and play missions. The only thing that I did not like was the fact that I could not get out of the Animus anymore because I can't get out of the Animus anymore because I'm dead, right? So you're in the Animus though all the time. You can't ever get out again. Obviously at the end of every other game, but like yeah, that's just how it is. Oh boy, I don't know. It's hard because I'm trying to pick 7 or 8. It's a 7 or an 8. It's not amazing, but it's not the best. So I'm gonna have to give this a 7 out of 10. It's a 7. So it's a 7 out of 10. So it's 7 out of 10. It's a 7 out of 10. Pretty good game. It's above average. It's slightly above average. It's really above average. It's a really good game. If you're an Assassin's Creed fan, of course you're going to go out and buy it. It's a really good game. If you haven't bought it already, you probably already have. It's a really good game. It is. It's just sometimes you know, we prefer old ones. We sometimes we prefer older games. Sometimes we don't always want the same old game. And I think that's all that matters is it's good to get some new ones, but it's good to remember that we can still play the old ones. I guess that's what is the bright side to this at the end of the day when we think about it. Well, until again, guys, keep rocking and rolling. I'll see you on the next review, which I'm probably going to do right after this one because I, honest to God, have nothing to do. So...